All right, what's going on, Ticker Nation? We're going to try this again. I did this workout live today, but then it was taken down, and then I did it on the wrong page, and so I was a bit of a disaster. But what I wanted to do is, we went live yesterday, and I did a metabolic analysis, and I got all that information that, defined my training zones with the Pinoy, and found, zone 2 was about 120 beats to 135 beats, and then zone 3 was 135 to 147, and then zone 4 was 147 to 170, and then 170 and above is zone 5. So anyway, thought I was going to go live today and just show you guys how I can use that information to guide my training. And like I said, I posted the wrong page, and then they took it down because there was too much music in the background and all that stuff. So I thought I'd just quickly kind of go over what I did here and just give you some insight into zone 2, zone 3 work. So again, my heart rate that I'm trying to stay at is under 147. I'm trying to recover as much as I can. The workout today was 20 rounds of 5 toes to bars, 10 calories on the rower, and 15 double unders. Again, the goal was to just keep moving, keep my heart rate under 147. I'm almost 100% successful with that. I see a little bit of 152 during this thing if you are so inclined to sit and watch this entire video. But, there's a tremendous amount of volume here without much stress and strain. I kind of talk about it when I was working out a little bit that I can't use that information now, but you hear so many times people talk about not being impressed by volume, being impressed by intensity. And I disagree with that. If you are going to make long-lasting, healthy, and higher performance training adaptations, you need to let that thing go. The only way to really improve health and to improve long-term performance gains are to just induce tons and tons of aerobic contractions throughout mixed modal work. And of course, you need to get stronger. You need to improve your skills and all that other stuff. But if you have skills and you're not all that concerned about getting any stronger, you could just do this kind of work all the time, which is, heart rate zone 2 and 3 work. This is very effective for improving your health, very effective for creating adaptation over time that is going to lead to improved performance. Now, I'm not saying you can't get stronger doing this stuff. I'm just saying that's not the focus of these sessions. These sessions are to think about just moving weight or moving your body through time and keeping your heart rate in an aerobic state. And like I said, for me, that is, I'm very aerobic at 147 beats. And you'll see here as this thing goes on, I hit 151, 152, but it's almost back out of it before I even get back on the rower. You can see there I just hit 144, but it's already starting to come down. When you have these quick reductions in heart rate, you can just tell you're still in a very aerobic state, right? Toes to bar, the volume of those per session, they're small. It's only 5 at a time, but I can do about, I guess my max set unbroken is 30. So in relation, 5 is not very many. But if your max set of toes to bars is 10, well, today's session might be a little too intense for you. You might need to only do 2 or 3 toes to bar. And then you're going to get on the rower and recover. And same thing with the double unders. Double unders for me, I have a really big unbroken set. It's not a super stressful exercise for me, so I can do 15. If you have a hard time, you might want to use singles or maybe only 5 or 10 double unders. Again, many times it's the time domain and skill level and strength of the athlete that determines the number of reps and as well as what training zone you're going to be able to train in. So just kind of keeping all of that in mind here, you can still see I haven't stopped moving. This is a nice workout for me. What would have pulled me out of my training zones? Oh, if it was 25 double unders, and it was 8 toes to bar and only 10 calories a row. I might have been able to still stay there if I had 20 calories to row instead, but it's the combination of the movements, it's the programming that gives you the ability and the individualistic approach to this, that when you become aware of who you are, and like if I'm telling you to try to stay in zone 2 and zone 3 work to utilize more fat and improve your ability to do work with oxygen, you start to recognize really quick how to change and adapt your programming to do that. Hopefully over time, let's just say, for example, you know yourself, and today it had to be 2 toes to bars, 10 calories on the rower, and 5 double unders. Well, hopefully over time, if you do a lot of this kind of work through volume, not through intensity, one day maybe you're doing, then it turns into 3 toes to bars, 10 calories on the rower, and 10 double unders. Then it turns into 4, 10, 20. All of these different things and avenues are ways to gauge and to guide your improvement, because, how do you know if you're actually getting better if you're not monitoring things? So that's one of the great things about keeping track of your heart rate. There's not just, am I getting faster per time, right? But am I able to do the work with less stress and strain? That's another important factor to be able to keep in mind while you're trying to improve. I don't know how much this is of interest, but this workout goes on for about 30 minutes. I don't know if I really need to post this thing for that long. You can see what this looks like. You can see my pace. I have to get just a little bit slower. You can see I'm holding 220 per 500 meters. That turns into more like 225 as this thing wears on. And again, I see 151, 152 a couple times. Part of that was because I was trying to talk. That all has an effect on your heart rate. But in general, this was a really nice session that I used to, from my information from my Pinoe test. And, I'll post another one like this, something with more like zone 3 and zone 4. So you can kind of see the difference in output. A few more reps are included, maybe a little bit of weight, maybe a little less rowing. Just depends on the exercises and my skill level as far as how the success is with staying in training zones and how hard I have to work. But I'm going to kind of just cut this off here. I don't think anybody wants to be bored for any more than 7 minutes and 50 seconds of listening to me talk and watching me work out. But, it just kind of gives you a sense like, this could I have done this workout faster? Absolutely. Maybe not double time, but certainly could have, rowed a lot harder and completely changed the metabolic output from this workout. So keep in mind, when we're doing these things and we're training, there is intent. The intent today, improve aerobic conditioning. Utilize fat as my primary fuel source. The more of this I do, the better that gets. The more work I can eventually do and endure with less stress, less fatigue. This was 100 toes to bars, 300 double unders, 200 calories on the row, and I could have done this times 2. That's when it was a good, sustainable training effort. You enjoyed the day, come back tomorrow, do it all over again. Are all training sessions for me this kind of what I would call fun? No, some days I have to go much slower. There are movements that challenge me more. Like for example, if there's anything pushing overhead, that's a challenging movement for me. So I have to either go really light or really slow. And all of that is fine. I just know that about myself. And, people that are familiar with this kind of work, they all know what they're good at, what they're not. And even though I have a good push press, it's just a weak movement for me. It takes a lot of stress and a lot of strain. Part of it is my long arms, as you can see here, and part of it is just overall strength. So, again, if you guys want to learn more about this and you want to, get some insight into how we can help you develop your aerobic conditioning through CrossFit and not just, steady state work on a rower or on a bike, aerobic capacity in CrossFit is built by doing lots of different movements: pull-ups, toes to bars, double unders, rope climbs, muscle ups, rowing, biking, running, pushing a sled, wall balls, lunge steps, box jumps. There's so many things that we get to utilize for our training that has a huge impact on our overall health. And we can make walking up steps really, really easy for you in the gym. Guess what? When you go to the airport and you're carrying up a bag, you won't have any trouble. And it's not going to wear you out. And you're not going to have to sit down and get all sweaty and be exhausted and then stink up the plane when you finally get to the airplane. So just these kind of workouts, it has a tremendous positive effect on your health. Again, this all is work that I would consider baseline work. If you're from the endurance community, slow, easy miles. Then you get to add the intensity. You do enough of this work, you've earned the right to add some intensity that doesn't beat you up, won't give you sore shoulders, won't hurt your hips, won't blow your knee out. All these kind of workouts that, are the basis of our programming are key components to building long-term health as well as improving performance. So if you want to hear more, you want to learn about it, want to get a Pinoe to guide your training, we do all of that. You can find us at tickertrained@gmail.com. You can find us at tickerfitness.com. Of course, on Instagram at tickerfitness. Of course, we're at 4109 Jackson Road in Ann Arbor, Michigan. You can always stop in and hang out, and we'd love to give you some help.